Imagine a virus that barely spreads from person to person, yet kills 4 out of every 10 people it infects. During the pandemic, we feared mortality rates of around 2%, but standing at humanity's doorstep is a silent killer with a mortality rate approaching 40%. So how is it possible that this virus exists in rodents almost like a harmless guest, yet turns into a complete catastrophe in humans? Why does hantavirus only strike certain regions, and how can you protect yourself from this invisible dust? Here's everything you need to know, explained step by step. Hantavirus is nature's way of saying, if you are not careful, I can be deadly. Where does the name come from? Let's start with its history. The virus gets its name from the Hantavirus River in South Korea, where the first major cases were identified during the Korean War in the 1950s, after thousands of soldiers fell ill. Why only rodents? Why can the virus live inside mice and rats for years without causing any symptoms, yet become so devastating in humans, with fatality rates reaching up to 40%? This is an example of coevolution. The virus and rodents have lived together for thousands of years, and the rodents' immune systems have learned to host the virus without overreacting. Human immune systems, however, do not recognize it and immediately hit the panic button. In many cases, the real damage is caused not directly by the virus itself, but by the body's overwhelming immune response, known as a cytokine storm. Why is each hantavirus strain usually tied to only one specific rodent species? For example, the Cinnabar virus is primarily carried by the deer mouse. The proteins on the surface of the virus fit only certain cell receptors of a particular rodent species, like a lock-and-key mechanism. Because of this, a virus adapted to one rodent species often cannot easily infect even another rodent species. How does the ability of the virus to spread without direct contact simply through inhaling dust contaminated with dried rodent droppings or urine aerosol transmission make it more dangerous than many other viruses? The virus clings to particles found in dried mouse urine or feces. When you sweep or disturb the area, those particles become airborne. Once inhaled, the virus can travel directly into your lungs. This makes it far more insidious than viruses that require direct physical contact. How long can the virus survive outside? Although hantavirus is highly sensitive to ultraviolet light, how long can it remain waiting in an ambush inside a dark, damp place such as an attic or storage room? Hantavirus is actually quite fragile in the outside environment. Sunlight and UV radiation can destroy it within minutes. However, in a cool, damp, and dark environment like a basement or attic, it may survive for up to 1 week. Most hantavirus strains treat humans as a dead-end host, meaning the virus usually does not spread from person to person. However, the Andes virus found in Chile and Argentina appears to have developed a small mutation that allows limited human-to-human transmission, likely through saliva. Why does it target the lungs, during Hantavirus Pulmonary Syndrome (HPS) are the lungs filling with fluid because of the virus itself, or because of the body's extreme immune response. The virus attacks the walls of tiny blood vessels in the lungs. This damages the vessels and increases their permeability, allowing the liquid portion of the blood plasma to leak into the air sacs of the lungs. In simple terms, the patient can essentially drown in their own body fluids. Can cats spread it? Cats do not become infected with or sick from hantavirus. However, if a cat catches an infected mouse and brings it into the house, it can indirectly become a biological carrier. When the cat plays with or tears apart the rodent, virus particles may become airborne. The risk is not the cat itself, but the infected prey it carries. When dealing with hantavirus, the best defense is not just cleaning it, it is ventilation and mask usage. Before cleaning a closed storage room, opening the windows and doors and allowing the space to air out for at least 30 minutes can save lives. Hantavirus and coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 are both RNA viruses that attack the respiratory system, but their strategies are completely different. You can think of one as a silent and deadly assassin hantavirus, and the other as a rapidly spreading invader coronavirus. Here is a proportional comparison of these two viruses. Source of transmission: hantavirus, rodents; coronavirus, humans. Human-to-human transmission: hantavirus, very rare; coronavirus, very high. Fatality rate CFR: hantavirus 40%, coronavirus 0.5 between %3. Incubation period: hantavirus 1 between 8 weeks, coronavirus 2 between 14 days. Most distinctive symptom: hantavirus, fluid accumulation in the lungs; coronavirus, cough, loss of taste, fever. The sharpest difference between hantavirus and coronavirus comes down to efficiency. Hantavirus, once infected, your chances of dying are approximately 20 to 30 times higher compared to coronavirus. In both viruses, the body's own immune system causes much of the damage, but the mechanisms are different. Hantavirus, it directly disrupts the permeability of capillary blood vessels. Proportionally, the fluid leakage into the lungs happens so rapidly that a large percentage of patients reach a critical stage within 24 to 48 hours after severe symptoms begin. Coronavirus, it damages lung tissue mainly through an uncontrolled inflammatory process known as a cytokine storm. Unlike hantavirus, this process usually develops over a longer period of time, often during the second week of infection. For coronavirus, social distancing, staying away from other people, can be highly effective. But social distancing does not work against hantavirus. Protection depends almost entirely on avoiding contact with rodents and contaminated environments. Statistically, More than 70% of hantavirus cases occur in rural areas, storage spaces, or while cleaning houses that have remained closed for long periods, where infected dust particles are inhaled. Nature is not always as harmless as it seems. Sometimes the greatest dangers hide inside the invisible dust left behind by the smallest creatures. Hantavirus reminds us that hygiene and caution are not just habits, they are survival skills. Stay informed, don't neglect your mask, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.